What is Angular? Angular is a front-end framework used to build single-page applications. So Angular runs in the browser. It is a client-side application and talks to backend API using the HTTP calls and shows the UI without reloading the pages. So in Angular we have different sections. So in our project we will have components, so it will be like the screens and UI pages, those things it will be contain that. And we have services, so the services will contain the common logics, API calls, the common behavior, global classes, like those things we will keep there. And models, so models means nothing as usual, the contracts, data structures, like those things we will use there. And we will have a environment, the address, API URLs, like those things, and core section for the security and shared infrastructure. So this is the command to create a new Angular project. So before that we need to install Node.js, and then we have to install Angular online command in our terminal. Then we can use this ng new employee skill UI is our project name. And routing, it means enables the page navigation, and style SSS means it will enable the advanced CSS support. And there is inside we have Angular material, it's a UI library. And what is it? So without this Angular material you must design buttons, tables, dialogues manually, but using this Angular material we can have professional UIs, same UI standards as Google Apps. So it will be similar to Bootstrap, similar kind of way we will have. So to install that we have to use this npm install Angular material. Using that we can add our Angular material to our project. So it will add the packages for animations, pre-built UI components, theme setups, icon support, like those things it will be installed. So similar way of Bootstrap, how we will use bootstraps. So these kind of classes be a similar way, but with the different names we can use here. So we can use mat button, mat table. So mat button gives a stylish button, and mat table give a finishing for a table, mat dialog. So it's a predefined CSS classes that is inbuilt in our material, Angular material. Environment file. So environment files, it will help us to set the like URLs like in local or production testing, like that. So without that, something like we have to hard code the URL, so it will be difficult. If we want to change something we need to change in every places. And the solution is there is an environment file like environment.ts, environment.prod.ts, environment.test.ts, like the way we can create our files. And so when we are running the application, so if we run like ng serve, so it will keep the environment.ts, which is local. If you want to run like a production, so we have to run like ng build, so we have to mention this tag prod. So at the time it will take this production configurations. Inside that we have our URL for production. So this is the real usage. We have to import the environment, and in the URL places we can just mention environment API URL like this. So Angular folder structure, we will see step by step our folder structure. So first part we will see models. So inside the source we will have app. Inside the app we can keep our models. So why we need models? So in C# to keep the entities we will have the class like a class employee, then we will have properties for that. So relevant to equivalent to that, in Angular we will have interface. So here we will have our properties, ID, name, like those things, and it is type safety and intelligence. And next we will have a core folder. So it's an infrastructure layer. Inside the core folder we will have services, interceptors, guards, like those things we will have. And the core folder, first we will have services. Within services we will have our common logics, API calls, business logics, shared logics, like those things we will have. And then we will have interceptors. So inside the interceptors, like it runs before and after every http calls. So it will be used for injecting the JWT token or making logs and handling error, like handling errors when some API error happens, or any error handling concepts. Like it's kind of a middleware in .NET. And then we will have gods. So gods means the name tells it's a protector. It's protect the routes and pages and prevents access if not logged in. So same as like authorize in our ASP.NET. If you familiar with .NET, you can get this concept easily. And then we will have Angular material theme. So why we need this, we have already covered that, like why we need Angular material. So it is like a bootstrap. We can easily integrate that for buttons and UI elements. So if you see here, we have used the Angular material matte radist button. So it will apply a style for a button. No need to make a separate hardcode for button. Other advanced uses of this Angular.json. So differential loading, we can set browser capabilities. So first we will see high level now. In later sections we will see one by one deeply. And then we can configure something in lazy loading, fine tuning. We can influence chunk namings, loading behaviors, like those things we can do here. And custom webpack configurations, those things we can provide here. And output folder control for IIS and Docker, changing where the build files has to go. And internalization, so configuring language builds. Service workers, file replacement beyond the environment. If we want any, we can replace any file, not just environment. We can replace in something like, instead of this app.config.ts, use app.config.prod.ts. So this will be used for feature toggles, API behavior, debug flags, those things we can use. And watch mode, true or false. So it will be used for CI/CD pipelines, performance tuning, those things, Docker development. For those things we can use this. And source map control, so we can use this for debugging CSS, hiding business logic, like those things. And the default project selection, if we have multiple projects exist, we will have a default project selection for preventing CLI confusion. Polyfile control, so advanced browser supports, legacy browser support, bundle size, for those things we can use. And bundle analyzer integration, for these kind of things we can use Angular.json. Okay, I have created a basic project. I just set up the basic set configuration. I just created project and installed the Angular material. And we have created this environment file. So currently I have configured local production, just created file, but paths are not configured. And this is the folder structure. We have under source we have app environments, and we will have models later, and core that has to be created yet. And Angular material theme that was configured in Angular.json, and global styles was updated in source styles.scss.